at times it does become overpowering and you can't stop thinking about it. But you know, human beings, you could well ask the same question about people who are in a war situation.
Yeah.
How do you sleep at night? And they do, because you have to.
Do
And
you,
we are programmed that we can.
do you think having a family helps that balance?
Oh, undoubtedly, because I think it makes you put things in perspective. And most of the things that people worry about, including scientists, aren't the big things, it's the little things. As you said before, it's whether you've had a disagreement with somebody in the lab, or whether you might have broken something, or whether how are you going to get to this meeting, and what talk are you going to give. You know, it's the little things that tend to keep you awake often, not the big things. When you're thinking about the big things, you don't mind being awake, but the little things are aggravating. Yeah, there's a lot of, as with any profession, there's a lot of baggage that comes with it, in a way, that it's not just doing the science. It's the personal contacts, it's the getting the grants, it's the, you know, going and giving talks all over the world, and that take energy and thought and planning. I'm very happy, I have to say. I'm always striving. I wouldn't say I was ever, I'm not a particularly contented person, but I do feel I'm very proud of the EBI and what it's achieved. It's great to look at it and see how it's grown and flourished. And I'm very proud of the research I've done and the people I've worked with, and all these postdocs and students who've gone on to do their own research. It's great. But, you know, I wouldn't have done it without having had the family as well. I mean, obviously I could have done it if I, for whatever reason, things didn't work out, but it was always very important to me, the family. Though they might not say that, they'd probably say, oh, well, you work too much, Janet, but, yeah.
I have to say, I think you're the first woman I've ever met that says, I would not be what I am today were it not for my family.
I would be a deeply unhappy person if it weren't for my family.
I feel like, you know, as a young woman, I'm often told, if you have a family, you can still have a career, but you won't do either of them well.
I don't think that's true. I think if you look at the men, very often they get involved in many extraneous parts. Most senior scientists have multiple different things that they do. They will do their research group, but they participate in grant things, they often set up companies, they go and give talks to people all the time that are, you know, not necessarily directly on their research. They do all the teaching. There are multiple, an administration, like being director. That took, in theory, it was supposed to take 50% of my time. When I came, I could spend 50% on research, 50% as being director. At some stage, it worked out at more like 9%, 90% versus 10%, I would say. On average, it was probably 80-20.
Being director
took that amount of time and energy. And therefore, now, I'm not director. I've actually got more time to spend with my research group than I had when I was director. And yet, I think my students and postdocs during that time, many of them flourished very well and became more independent because I wasn't there to hold their hands all the time. And so you see different advantages, and I do think that you have to be focused, and it's, you know, it's not a piece of cake having young children and having a job, but it's great because you get both sides of life, to my way of thinking anyway, and I wouldn't have changed that at all. Having said that, what was right for me isn't right for many other people. Everybody is different. Everybody finds different solutions and different balances in their lives. And I I just feel very fortunate that I've been able to do what I wanted to do. You know, it's really a very, very privileged position to have been in.